Hi everybody, welcome to week 9 for vocabulary. This week your root word is para, which can mean beside, beyond, or associated with. Our first word is paradigm, which is a clear or typical example of how something should be done. So if you're in chemistry class, your teacher gets up there and is going to have you do an experiment, and they show you step by step exactly how you need to go about doing that experiment. You have a paradigm for your experiment. It's a model of how it should be done. Our next one is paradox, a statement that seems to go against common sense but may still be true, or it could be a person or thing or quality that seems to be opposite. So, for example, if I said, the more you learn, the less you know, you think, that doesn't make sense. But if you really think about it, the more you learn, the less you know. Think about when you're in elementary and middle school and you're studying mathematics. And you start out and you do 2 plus 2 and you think, man, I know it all. But then you hit multiplication tables. You're like, wow. So you learn your multiplication tables. Well, then you hit geometry. Then you hit algebra. Then you hit trigonometry. And it just keeps going higher and higher and higher. And then when you get out of school, you have to apply all that knowledge. And so really, the more you learn, you get an awareness that there's a whole bunch of stuff that you really don't know about that one subject. So it's a paradoxical statement. The more you learn, the less you know. Then we have paragon, which is a model of excellence or perfection. So I could say in regards to basketball players, Michael Jordan is probably a paragon of excellence for basketball players. He does it really well. He's a model of excellence. Paragon, maybe what is a paragon for one would not be another. It's more of a subjective opinion, but the word itself means a model of excellence. Then we have parameter, and you've probably heard of this in geometry class or math class, where you figure out the boundary of a certain area, which is the parameter of that area. There's also different colors or flavors of the meaning. A physical quality whose value determines the characteristics or behavior of a system, a characteristic element, a limit, or a boundary. So I have boundaries for your grades. I have parameters for your grades. I have parameters for what makes a D, what makes a C, what makes a B, what makes an A. So the parameters for your A would be 90% to 100%. So parameter. So this week, your 4 new words based on your root word para, meaning besides, beyond, outside, or associated with, are first paradigm, which is a clear example of how to do something. Paradox, a statement that goes against common sense, but it's still true, or 2 persons, things, or qualities that seem opposite. A paragon, which is a model of excellence or perfection, and parameter, which is the actual boundaries for something, whether that's physical boundaries, grade boundaries, or a boundary within a certain system. So these are your 4 new words for this week. You're going to combine them with our words for last week, which you're going to review. And remember, that was retro. We had all the different hats, and we started out with some hats that my mom had. They were kind of retro, and then I did the ones that I had when I was growing up, right up into the time when I was putting on a hat that I wore this summer. So there was that whole series. So retro means back, behind, or backwards in Latin. Our 4 words were retroactive, intended to apply or take effect at a date in the past. Retrofit, twirling around, to furnish something with new or modified parts or equipment that was optional or unavailable at the time it was manufactured. Retrogress, to return to an earlier and usually worse or more primitive state. And retrospective, a general comprehensive exhibition or performance usually covering an artist's output to date. So covers their whole career. So you're going to do the activity in Canvas where you're going to apply these 8 words to 8 new sentences. You're going to use the word, spelling it correctly in the correct context, and then you're going to match, just do that recall activity where you're going to match the definition with the actual term. So, and then I'll catch your notes on Monday, and we'll be through with lesson 9 for vocabulary. So see you next time.